Yellow, everyone, and welcome to another stream. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing just fine. Oh, no, this is everything. Oh. I wish there were a way for me to organize my audio in my audio mixer on OBS. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just don't know what it is. I have no clue. Is it over here, maybe? No. Too easy. Oh well. Hello. Whoa. I hope you guys are doing well today. Doing all right, doing well. It's late. I know it's late. And here's the thing that's happening. It's not gonna get better. Not right now. So occasionally, if you've been here a while, I will just occasionally like go MIA. I just won't stream for a while. And usually what's happening is, I'm just like, I just can't start streaming until like I'm busy or like something's going on with me until a certain hour in the evening. And then like, right now, me and my chronic fatigue are in a tizzy. So like I wake up, I don't have any energy. I wake up, I eat. I have a little bit of energy, like I have an energy spurt for like, I don't know, like maybe 2 hours if I'm lucky, an hour or two. And then I am done. Like I'm so tired. It might as well be like 9-10 p.m. after a long day of work, you know? To give you like an idea of like where my energy levels are at, if you guys are unfamiliar with like chronic fatigue and such. And then I get really and so then like I have to lay down. I try to like work through it, but like honestly I'm just not going to get anything done. So what it ends up happening is I go and I lay down and I'm on my phone reading or like doing something that's just very low energy cost, like watching videos, reading just like nothing super difficult or like intensive. I'll be playing like a mobile game that again is like just kind of like head empty, no thought, or like just talking to friends here and there where I can, because that's also very energy consuming, which sucks the most, I'll be completely honest with you. And so I do that for a little bit and sometimes I fall asleep. Usually I don't. Usually I'm just miserable. Then eventually I will get my energy back around like 6-7 p.m. Usually more towards 7 because like today I tried to thug it out. Because like I also, it's a whole thing. So I try and thug it out. And then it doesn't work. So then like it's like 6 p.m. or like 5-6 when I'm laying down instead of like 3-4 when I should be laying down. And like that's like the hours I start streaming, you know, but like I'm not there. So I get up and like I start doing things around the house as I should have been doing earlier. And then like so I get hungry. And then when I start feeling like I'm going to be hungry, that's when I start doing some stuff. And like I just finished eating dinner and now I have time to sit here. Now I just ate. I've built up more energy from like being in bed for longer and now I'm here. I'm still tired. I still feel like it's 9-10 p.m. after I've worked a whole day, despite not doing so. But like now I'm gonna be awake until like 3 a.m. You know, like that's kind of where I'm at. And it's so funny because it's not like it's hotter. Usually when it's hot, that's when I get really bad fatigue. But it's like really like all right. It's really like good right now, but like I feel hotter than normal. because it is starting to get nice and cool. So when it's not cool, I'm really feeling that. It's a mess. I'm a mess. Have I ever told you guys I'm a mess? And my body is a mess. That doesn't let me do anything fun ever. Man, I do be like that though. I do be doobing. But hello, hi. I hope you guys are well. Some cool things have happened. Some cool things are going to happen, and I'm here with you guys. So we have our little PNG tuber here today because we're going to be doing some art stuff, and like I've said before, it's just easier to do art stuff without a webcam. Otherwise, I'd have to have like the webcam looking up at me, and that's just not a flattering angle for anyone. But especially me. So that's why I'm here instead. You know what? I'm going to accept that. So now I'm here in my little guy. Oh my gosh, let me tell you. So yesterday I was going to stream also. Yesterday I was going to stream, and like literally I was like, okay, I've got everything open. I'm ready to go. Let me turn on my light. So I have this ring light, which is a ring, like for all intents and purposes, it is a ring light. However, it is also what its original purpose is that it has like a magnifying glass in the middle of it. So I can so it illuminates things that are on the desk, and I can look down into it, and it's magnified. So it's for like doing soldering things, or I bought it in particular because I was doing things with my keyboard, and it was really hurting my neck when I did it. So I was like, if I ever do this again, I would like to have one of these on hand, you know? And so I did, and I do have it on hand now because I needed it. So I am sorry, I'm trying to decide how I'm gonna spend some pocket change essentially in this game. And so yeah, that's essentially what I've been doing all of today, or last night. I was playing with that, and then I got to a point where it's been bothering me for a while. Like, it's been bothering me for a good little bit that it does this. And what it does is that it's wiggly. It's wiggly, and I hate that. And so, especially because it was starting to feel more and more like, how do you say it felt more and more like it was going to fall. So it has like this little screw thing to screw it on and screw it on. And I do believe I screwed it off, but I don't remember doing so. So I'm sure I did. So I just don't remember. But I have definitely, like, I move it from like where it is now to where to a little bit more down towards, like, so I have it facing me, the light, and then I have it facing the desk when I need to do things on my desk, which is like every day, because I don't like having my big light on. I like having my this ring light on. So I'm maneuvering it up and down, up and down, up and down, and it went from being like from the arm it's on to the light itself being the one that was getting screwed in and out, or being mobile, I should say. And what I found out is what was happening is I was screwing it in, I was screwing it out, screwing it in, screwing it out. And I'm assuming at some point, it got loose. So I was just like, I'm afraid this is going to fall, and this is the best light ever. And also it's multifunctional. I don't want that glass to fall, the magnifying to fall, because I do actually like the function of this thing. So I'm like, okay, let me take a look. Because it was also cheap. It was like $10. For like what it is, phenomenal price, by the way. I don't think they still sell it. I bought it during COVID. Um, or during COVID times, I should say. And so I move it and I try to take it off, but like it has a wire because it's a light, right? So it has a wire that's attached through the arm, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not dealing with that. So I just bring the whole thing down, and I'm messing with it, and like and so it only has two visible screws, right? Visible being the operative word there. So I take out these two screws and I try to take it apart, and like only the part where the screws were want to come apart. And so I spent some time there, and like I start this at like 6:30, maybe 6:20, 6:30, right? And so I'm like, oh man, okay, so like that's important because yesterday was a raid day for my mobile game, which I was just going to do during stream, during this talky bit, right? Because it's only 30 minutes. It's not that like brain intensive. I just have to do it. Well, I don't have to I choose to do it because it's a game I like. So so that happens at 8 p.m. But at 7 is game reset, and at 6:55 there's an in-game activity that I like to do because like you have 5 minutes left until the end. And it's the best way to get ranking in that activity every day. So I was like, okay, I have my alarm set for 6:55, 6:57, and 7, right? So I know like what my times are. And then I have my alarm set for 7:55, 8 for this raid I'm doing. So I'm there, it's again, like right after 6. It's like barely after 6. So I'm messing around with this because I was like, I'll start streaming early at 6:30 or whatever. So I'm here and I'm like trying to figure it out. And then it takes me a little bit. And then I realize that the covering, the like rubber covering over the light pops off. So like I go around and I pop it off, and I unlike clamp the thing so I can pop it off. And then I see the light, and then the light, which are just a bunch of, LED little nodes. And then that entire like plate also is not attached. I don't think is attached to anything. And then, it flips out, and then there's more screws, and I'm like, ugh, all right. And I'm doing this without a screwdriver, mind you. I have 3 multi-tools essentially in my room, or like Swiss Army knives. I have one that my dad gave me when I was really young that I like absolutely annihilated my thumb with consequences that I feel to this day. It's still a little numb. And then I have another one that my dad got me. That is like a cheap thing. Like the first one is a really nice one. The second one is not. It's a cheap little thing. And then the last one is another one he got me. And that one is unique because it unfolds, and it's like it's needle nose pliers essentially. And what I've learned is that while that is neat, I can't do anything serious with it, and we'll talk about it here in a second. And so I'm using one of these multi-tools to like unscrew these things, or these army knives to unscrew these things. So I'm doing that. I'm fighting for my life. And then I get those 3 out, and I'm like, all right, finally. So I flip out that part, and then boom, there's another thing under that plate. And I'm like, hello? So finally I get all 10 of these screws out. And I'm like, okay. And so then I flip it open, and then I see a bolt, right? So this whole thing is a bolt that the light is connecting to, that I'm screwing and unscrewing, right? And it all like and it's all over the place. So what it is, it's 3 parts. It's the bolt, or the nut, that's what it's called. There is the nut, and then there is the there is an offset washer. I saw what it was called yesterday, and I don't remember because I had to look up something else. Which apparently is there so as you are screwing the nut in, the tension like catches it or something, and then it like gets tight on there. And then the other one was this washer that was crimped, And I was like, what the fuck is this? Cause again, it fell apart inside. So now I have like a regular normal washer. I have this like offset washer, that feels more like a ring to me. And then this crimped washer and the nut, right? So I'm just like, in what fucking like, what is the purpose of these? Why do these all exist? So I Google it, right? And at this point, it's like 6:40 at this point. I'm Googling what a crimped washer is. I'm sweating. And I'm just like, what is this thing? And I find out that it serves the same purpose as the other thing. Basically, it's supposed to like the little crimped parts, those little teeth are supposed to like catch on to like the edge of the nut, and that's supposed to fasten it. It's a fastener. That's what they're called, fasteners. And I was like, okay, I guess. And so I still have no idea, because now I have two fasteners, right? Like I have the little one and I have the crimped one. And I'm like, well, if I have two of them, what order do they go in? So due to just a functionality, which of the offset fastener, I realized that's what that purpose was. I've seen them before when like I'm putting things together. I just didn't know what their purpose was. I had no idea. I just followed the instructions, like I had no idea what that was for. So I put those together. I decided to do the little one and then the crimped one, because that felt more natural. And so now, again, I'm doing this all with like my little Sosarpmi knife. So it's a nut. And if it needs to fasten on the inside, because it's not attached to anything, right? This bolt, then this is the only thing that's going to like hold the rear here. So I'm like, all right, I can't hand tighten this. This needs to be tighten. So I look around my immediate area, because we have good pliers and we have stuff like that, but like I'm working in a small area. It's not very big or accessible, because it's inside this light, So so I'm like, oh, the needle nose pliers, finally. So I grab them and I'm using them, and I'm actually kind of excited to use it, because like, when do you get to use those? And not, especially at home when I have actual pliers, they're just bigger. So I start using them to tighten them. It hurts to use it. It really hurts to use it. Because it's not like a smooth surface on the like where the handles are. It's hollow. It's just like the edges of metal where, that's the plating of the tool. And then, oh, I must be hella loud. So sorry. Let me move myself down a little bit. I had to move myself up for a friend, but I'm super loud on OBS for whatever reason. I'm so sorry. I must be blurring your ears. But yeah. And like, I guess it's not hollow, but everything is like inset. So like when you squeeze them, you're like digging these plates into your hand. So like I'm trying to hand tighten these, and as it gets more tight, I'm obviously squeezing harder, and it's hurting my hand. Like, so it's like, I'm starting to get the alarms. The alarms are starting to blare. So like I have like a paper towel in here. So I grabbed this paper towel and I tried to use it as a towel to try and like, because I'm just like, well, how am I supposed to be using this? And I'm like, I guess they assume I have a rag or something to use it. I don't know. So I'm there and I start using it. It doesn't help that much, I'll be completely honest with you, but it did let me go a little bit tighter, because at a certain point it just wouldn't move anymore. I would in fact need a wrench or something to tighten it the rest of the way, because it's just the area is too tight for me to actually be able to maneuver any other tool in it. But it's fairly tight, and honestly it wasn't that hard to take apart. It was just surprising. So if it needs to happen again, I know what to do. And this time now I know like what's being moved, because I was under the impression it was moving from the arm and not the actual light, the internals of the light. So now that I know, Um, now I know how to be a little bit more careful about it. And sometimes that's the important thing about knowing how to take things apart and put them back together, because it's not difficult. But it can be intimidating, I'm sure, to take something apart that has a function, because you're afraid it's not going to function when you try to put it back together, right? Or you break it when you're taking it apart. And it's kind of just important to learn the limits of what you're using, because like I was trying to pry apart this light, right, when I took out those 2 screws, because I thought it was like tied in there, and then maybe it had clamps on the inside the rest of the way, or the clips the rest of the way through. It didn't, obviously. But like, because that top popped off so easily, I was like, oh, let me run a knife through this to try and like get the clamps unclipped, or the clips unclipped, to unclip it. And because I was like I was putting pressure on it to try and like get it to unclamp, and I was like maneuvering it in such a way so like it would offset so the clips would unclip, but like it wasn't working. And if I hadn't like played around so much with these types of things as a kid, I wouldn't have known like, hey, I'm reaching the breaking point. If I pull this any harder, I am gonna break something. Like it's gonna crack. And that's when I know, okay, this isn't working. There must be something else here, right? And then now I know to go elsewhere and look for these other screws that are hidden somewhere, obviously. And then that's how I know, like, oh, this is this, and now I know that this is like a Petrushka style doll or whatever. So I'm like, boop, 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 boop. And yeah, by the time that was done, I finished like basically at like 7:20-ish, 30-ish. I think it was 7:20. And then I had to like go clean up and get everything like cleared. And so when I finally sat down, it was basically 7:50. Yeah, I must have been 7:30 if I ended at 7:50. Or like close enough, like 7:45-ish. When I finally sat down, I was like, okay, I'm done. I can now like get on to other things. And I was like, damn, the raid starts at 8. And then we started late. We started at 8:05. So I was like, oh man. So so then that's a 30-minute activity. And then I had to go eat after that, because like now it's late enough that I have to go eat, and now it's 9. And now I'm like, and then like 9 to 9:30 went in a blink. I have no idea what I did during those 30 minutes, but like I blinked and it was 30 minutes later. So I'm like, well, now it's 9:30. Do I even start streaming now? Is this just too late? It is in fact too late, because like no one stops by at these hours, but that's fine. Sometimes it's just a matter of but like it's the idea of routine, right? It's just getting into the habit of routine. And I do have to do things. And like sometimes when I don't stream, I get like really discouraged, especially when I have like plans to stream and then I don't end up doing it. So yeah, that's why I am in fact doing it. And speaking of things that I'm doing, oh, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Boop, boop. Let me actually take off that, because I know that's gonna bother you guys. Son of a bitch. Go back here. So what is happening is I have this friend group, right? And we have this group chat, and we play a lot of games together. We play a lot of like these 3-4 player games, because there are 4 of us. So like we get to play a lot of these 4. We're the squad, right? We're the 4-player squad. But we're all like adjacent to TTRPGs, and so we talk about it often. But like it's not our main focus of our friend group. It's just something we relate to. It's one of the many hobbies we share. And so we've been playing games together for a long time, and one of the games that we played when it was popular was Lethal Company. And we played Lethal Company, and I don't remember exactly what was happening in the game. I'm going to be completely honest with you, because Lethal Company is one hell of a game with many things that happen. I'm sure you guys can relate. And what ended up happening is we were playing Lethal Company and someone said, or someone made or we started making jokes about meat, like either like something wanted our meat, like one of the enemies wanted our meat, or there were a lot of bodies in an area, and so it was just a lot of meat in an area. And at some point, this elevated this joke into calling us a meat circus, right? And we laughed because we were like, that's basically us playing this game. We're just a meat circus. And somebody decided to change, and we changed our group name all the time. And so one of the names we switched our group chat to was Meat Circus. And there's an ad about to play, and although no one is watching, and if anyone does watch this, it's going to be through the VOD, therefore they're not going to have any ads, I would still rather like take a second here, in case anybody does drop by, to not be talking about one of the main things in, the title during an ad. That feels like a dick move, so we'll just give that a second. I think I made a setting in which I chose a setting in which an ad would start playing randomly after it told me, or like a minute or 30 seconds afterwards. But I don't remember. Also, oh, there we go. Minute and a half. Also, for this map, I did go, and I went to ask Trooper about reading the map and making sure that I was understanding it correctly and that the mistakes I observed were in fact mistakes. And I don't know if anyone else has told Rory Montford about these issues, but I am going to be writing up an email. Oh, speaking of email, I should probably pull up this other thing. If I'm going to talk about Meat Circus. And so, I'm so glad that this has nothing on it. You know what? That this somewhat relates to this, so we'll take it. And so, yeah, I'm gonna do a write-up on this map and highlighting exactly where the issues lie. Actually, speaking of this map, there's something I wanted to do, which was I wanted to throw all of these colors in a group. I'm going to call it the heat map. There we go. So I can undo that as we go. You know what? We'll keep this up here because I'm going to switch to something else. So welcome back, everyone. So my friends and I, we have a group chat called the Meat Circus. It started off as an in-joke about something that was happening in Lethal Company. And then it evolved into our group chat name. And it hasn't changed. It's been that name for years now. For like, I don't know, a year, maybe 2 now. Which is impressive, again, because we used to change the name all the time. And our group chat photo is still also a Lethal Company photo. So we are, in fact, on theme still. But we were talking about games. I wasn't involved in this conversation. I was elsewhere, and I came in after one of my games or something, and I saw that they were playing Elden Ring Night Rain, and I was just like, oh, let me just stop by and talk to my friends because I see them in the chat and the voice chat. So I pop in and they're talking about TTRPGs, and I'm like, what an uncommon thing for us to talk about. But we were talking about them, and I was just like, oh, what are we talking about? And so we they're like, oh, we're talking about writing a game about the meat circus. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. And then so the conversation kept talking and we kept evolving. And then Meat Circus Jam happened. And what does that mean exactly? That's a great question. But first, make sure you go follow my friends over on Blue Sky. We have Kiana S at Blue Sky. We have anaris.dylangrinder.com. We have myself. Hi, hello, that's me. And we have superrobotbear.bluesky.social. You can follow them all from here, or you can follow me over on Blue Sky, and you can find them all there. Because I'm going to be reblogging the fuck out of this, so make sure to go follow that. But the Meat Circus Jam became a thought, and we've been talking about it for months, I think now. I think it started in the summer, and the decision was made to do it during spooky season. And so now here it is. Meat Circus Jam. Now, what does that mean? Well, the Meat Circus Jam is this game jam that we are doing throughout the entirety of October, starting from October 1st to, let me make this a little bit smaller, October 1st to October 30th. There we go. October 1st to October 30th. As you can see, we have 1 month, 3 hours and 55 minutes. And it ends November 1st at 2 a.m., aka the end of October. And so do hear that on the October winds, raucous laughter, festive music, and wet squelching. The Meat Circus is in town, and we invite you to enter the ring with your TTRPG about meat. Now, what are the rules of this game jam? Well, you have to make a tabletop game, supplement or setting that features meat. You can write a game about meat, use meat as a mechanic, create meat-themed settings, whatever the Meat Circus inspires in your fleshy, meaty heart. It'll all be welcome. No previously published projects. While you can't submit stuff you were working on before, we highly recommend trying to create something from scratch. You know, let the Meat Circus lead you somewhere instead of you leading something to the Meat Circus. No generative AI anywhere in your submission or submission page. This includes AI generated imagery and text. Once again, it is not just me who is vehemently against anything AI. No generative AI, anything at all, ever. Because I think it is a plague unto our world, and it is unnecessary. It is just made by a bunch of, boring, no personality tech bros who want to be interesting. And they're still not interesting, by the way. They're just not interesting, and also now furthering the destruction of our world and our communities. But not their communities, because they don't exist for anything except themselves, and if themselves are so boring, they essentially are they're nothing. They exist for nothing because they are nothing. Next, we have charge whatever you want for your project, whether you want it to be paid, pay what you want, free, whatever you want, whatever system you want. It's your project. Do what you want with how it goes. Adult and not safe for work content is permitted. No fascists, racists, homophobes, transphobes, sexists, and or any other bigots are allowed in, because you suck and you're the worst, and I don't want you anywhere near me ever at all. And I will point and laugh and make fun of you. Optional challenges are: make this a group act, collaborate with someone else. It's a Meat Circus, Also, use only public domain / I don't know what CCO, community created own, Creative Commons open, maybe is what it stands for, art, and create something not just about meat, but about a meat circus. It is the Meat Circus Jam, and well, that is not what you have to write about. You could. So when we talked about this, we originally didn't talk about it as a jam. We talked about just writing a game in which there was meat, and then it turned into a jam. And so we all kind of like, when the idea presented itself of, if we were to make a game about meat, what would your game about meat be? And I cannot wait for you guys to see what Ethan's game is, because his game is nightmare fuel. It is truly deserving of that October slot, let me tell you. And maybe the main inspiration as to why this is coming out in October, or why this jam's happening in October, and not maybe any other of the summer months that we were functioning in, or when this idea was floating around. So for those of you who've never done a game jam, basically all you have to do is you just go in to this itch. It's itch.io/jam/meet circus jam. That's funny. You go in, you hit that join the project, and then or you could leave the jam if you join again, but then you go to submit your project, and oh, that's my existing project. You upload your new game, and you go through that entire rigmarole right here, you know, the title, the project URL, something shorter, what is it, what kind of project is it, what status is it in, what do you want the payment system to be, suggest a donation, then upload your file, size limit of 1 gigabyte. You can upload it from your computer or from Dropbox. And then you add your details, what your genre is. Sadly, there is no Meat Circus genre. The tags, you know, Meat Jam is probably a good one, but whatever your game is related to, make sure to do that. Hey, Pope, hello, Prax. I hope you're doing well today. Hope all is good. We're just talking about the Meat Circus Jam that has come out today. Then is it available anywhere else? If so, add some stuff there. You know, the custom noun for your game, your custom, like, instead of game, project maybe is another word you might want it to be. Community, disable, comments, discussion board. What do you want there to be associated with your project? And then hey, where's do you want to like do a practice run? Put it in draft first, then restricted, then public when you're ready, and then save. You go to view your page, and boom, done. And that's it. That's how you submit a project. And so that is the Meat Circus project. Oh wow, 10 people have already joined. That's exciting. But yeah, so just write a tabletop game, supplement, or a setting that just features meat. Whatever that may inspire. You know, it could be a game about meat. It could be a game. It could be a mechanic. It could be a meat themed setting. You know, maybe when you hear meat, you think of like Miss Frizzle in the Magic School Bus and one of the many adventures they had inside the human body, or a body. It wasn't always necessarily human. And maybe that's what the imagery of meat inspires. Or maybe it's something a little bit nefarious, like the butcher from Diablo, you know, like, or meat's on the menu, boys. Exactly. Like, there's so many things that meat could inspire. Maybe it's that like nice juicy steak maybe you have waiting for you in your fridge. I don't know. Whatever may inspire. And like, we've also on the channel, we've looked at oh, what is it called? It's brioche something. But it is a game. Oh, right, the brioche bataille. That's a game about you having a brioche and you break it apart, and the way you break it apart, or I think yeah, it's the bread you take apart, and depending on how you break apart the bread, depends on the story you're gonna tell with the associated army. So if that's how you want to go about it, you know, there's a million ways you can interpret meat And it just depends where you want to go with it. And so when we were talking in our group chat about it, because again, that's where this all originated from, our group chat actually named the Meat Circus. Ooh, look, Button. Hey, Prax, thank you so much for the primer. 17 whole months. So that's crazy. Thank you so much, Prax. I really appreciate it. Pope with, now I'm thinking about a horror game where you come into a meat locker and you must escape. Ooh. Exactly. Like there's just so many ways you can go about it, from something more horrific, or something a little bit more just like chill. It is there's a lot of things that meat can invoke, and I'm excited to see exactly how people interpret that, because we've been talking about it for a while. So when this originated in our group chat, the name, but in the actual chat, like when we were actually talking in our voice chat where this jam began, the question was like, if you were to write a game about meat, what would the game be? And like I said, there are some ideas out there, and I cannot wait for you guys to see what Ethan has up his sleeve, because Ethan's is along the lines of what Pope's mind's at. Not exactly as an escape, but boy, oh boy, he's been telling us about it. Ethan has been raring to write this game, and it's been in the old noggin for months for Ethan. So what he's about to cook up is gonna be sizzling hot. Huzzah, darkness. Ooh, and now you have some thoughts. Good. That's what I want to hear. And so when I was thinking about it, my first thought, and so this is a conversation that we've also had in the group chat, because again, we are called the Meat Circus. So we do occasionally have conversations about the Meat Circus and what that means to us, essentially. And so we are talking about, I talk often about, and I've talked to you guys about, and when I was taking music history, one of the first songs we ever learned about, and one of the earliest, I think, written pieces of music that we have is called Non Sofre Santa Maria. So Non Sofre Santa Maria is specifically Cantiga 159 of Non Sofre Santa Maria. It is hold on, let me just make sure this is correct. Good, I'm glad I looked it up, because that is not correct. That is not the word I'm looking for. No, I want the antonym. Well, I was looking for the other word for it, but I guess I can't think of it right now. It is a piece. Again, this is one of the oldest songs that we have. This is either the first song we have like the complete music for, or it's one of the oldest songs we have, period. So Non Sofre Santa Maria. Oh, I was hoping I would get the wiki for this. It is from the 13th century. Oh my god, I want the wiki for it. There's no wiki for this piece. It's been a long time since I've learned about this. Here we go. So the Cantigas de Santa Maria, or in English, apparently it's the Canticles. I'm gonna go with Canticles of Holy Mary. There are 420 poems with music notation written in the medieval Galician Portuguese language during the reign of Alfonso X of Castile el Sabio, who reigned apparently lived and died between 1221 and 1284. And so traditionally they're attributed to Alonso, but like, No one does. It's actually written by everyone else but him. So like whatever. But they always talk about the Virgin Mary, the Santa Maria. Surprise. um and they are written, music back then was written in such a way. Here, look at this little photo here they got here. This is what music notation looked like back in the day. Or some music notation looked like back in the day. It has the air of something modern. But you know, and I think a lot of people would struggle reading that in this day and age. And so the cantigas were written back in the day, right? And they're about the Virgin Mary. And that's really all you really need to know. And the reason it's important to me is because I learned about this in music history class. And the song that my professor pulled up of Cantiga 159, Non soffre Santa Maria, don't suffer, or like don't worry, or something along the lines, Santa Maria, Virgin Mary, is because this song, it was a bop. The version he pulled up, like I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. It was a bop. It was a bop. It was a bop then. It was a bop now. And I've listened to other versions and other interpretations of this piece since then. But truly, really, in my heart of hearts, this interpretation from the Martin Best Ensemble is hands down the best interpretation. There's an issue with older music that it's made to sound real boring. Music pre like 1700s is made to sound so boring. And I think there's just a little something. There's a little something on Cantiga 159 Non sobre Santa Maria. So I'm going to let you guys listen to the song first, and then we'll talk about what the song is about. In fact, because I know some of you guys read non-English languages, we're just going to hide that. And I just want you guys to see what the picture is that either they chose of this, or maybe it's part of the manuscript. Let me just make sure you guys can hear this. Nothing's playing yet. Don't worry. You're not missing anything. It should pop up soon. Yes, you can hear it. Hey. Yeah. 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 What? Doctor. Hey. Now I know what you might be thinking. PB, what is Cantiga 159 Non Sofre Santa Maria, a poem about the Virgin Mary, have to do anything about meat? And that's, you know what? I think that is a great point and a great question to ask. So I would like to read you the translation that they have here of this. Yeah, where's the meat, PB? So let me read you the translation of this piece that we just listened to, Cantiga 159 Non Sofre Santa Maria, once again, by the Martin Best Ensemble is who did this interpretation, which, by the way, again, one of the best interpretations I've ever heard. It is a fun interpretation. The person on the tambor fucking went off. The fucking piccolo player also popped off. I think it's a period appropriate flute, but I'm gonna call it a piccolo because it might be a piccolo they used instead. They fucking popped off. Also, shout out to the person who did the pronunciations because my god. So then the translation, or the best translation that this person has, is how Holy Mary caused a chop of meat to be found which was stolen from some pilgrims in the city of Rocamandor. All right. Man, what a thesis statement, right? How did Holy Mary how was she the cause of finding this chop of meat that was stolen from some pilgrims in the city of Rocamandor? Holy Mary will not allow those who are desirous of making her pilgrimage to suffer loss. There's the meat. Concerning this, hear now a miracle which I wish to tell for you as I heard it told, which Holy Mary performed for some pilgrims who went to Rocamandor to pray, simply and humbly, as do many good Christians. After they entered the city, they went to take lodgings and ordered meat, bread, and wine brought for their supper. In the meantime, they went to pray to the Virgin to beseech her Son and her compassionate prayers on their behalf, that he look not to how they had erred, but that they might have his pardon. I want it to be very clear that all these he's and hers are all capitalized. His pardon for all their sins. When they had done this, they hastened to return to where they had their supper, for which they were very eager. They had ordered 9 chops to be put into the pot, as God is my witness, for they were of that number. However, when they pulled them out, they found 1 fewer, for the servant girl had robbed them, and they were all very annoyed about it. They searched for it throughout the house, calling on Holy Mary to reveal it to them. They heard the chop striking the sides of a chest and running over to it, and they were not slow about it, you may be sure. They had the chest open at once and looked inside, and they saw their chop jumping from side to side. They ran out into the streets to call in the many of the people who saw that miracle, which was one of the most marvelous the Virgin ever performed in that place. Then they took the chop, hung it by a silken cord before her holy altar, praising Holy Mary, who performs beautiful miracles. And so colloquially, this song is also known as a jumping pork chop song. For that reason, Pope. It is about this jumping chop that was hidden inside a chest that this entire song is dedicated to. And here are some notes about this piece that I always strike me whenever I read the translation. A, this was one of their biggest worries. Missing 1 pork chop. They ordered 9. Only got 8. A servant girl sold 1. They only had 8. They were very annoyed about it. And because they were so annoyed, they were like, please, Holy Mother, Holy Mary, please, Holy Virgin Mary, help me find this pork chop. For I have prayed at your altar on this day that I have made pilgrimage to. And this should be my reward. And now I'm not getting my rewards because somebody stole it. Please, Holy Mary. And then the other one is that this was the most marvelous miracle that the Virgin Mary had ever performed in that place. Which kind of infers that Virgin Mary did do other miracles, but that one was the most marvelous. So like those are some of the things that always pop out to me about the song. Aside obviously from the jumping pork chop. So I think about the song a lot. This is one of my favorite songs of all time. I think the song is a bop. B, it's one of the most ridiculous songs of all time. But like, who doesn't love a good little ridiculous bop? And there's an ad that's about to play, so I'll hold for the rest of my thoughts. But just know that this is a song that I first thought of when I was asked, hey, what would you make a game about meat about? And I thought, of course, the colloquially remembered jumping meat song. The holy jumping meat song, I should say. Mary makes that pork jump. That's what I'm saying. Look. They work in mysterious ways, I guess. Also, sometimes I'm just like, I guess we just had like different versions of sacrilege back in the day. Okay, signed up. Let's go, Prax. Hell yeah. I look forward to seeing what you come up with, because I think there's going to be a wide swath of games that are going to come out. From my jumping meat song to again, the mystery miracle meat. It is a great way to put it, Pope. This is and so one of the things that I note when I look at this piece is that in the comments, everyone is talking about how they listen to this in their music history class. All music history. La mejor cantiga Male Sacrificium. Apparently you know ball. Apparently he knows ball. The lost stake, so intense. Yeah, music literature. That's very funny. It's like a lot of people are just like, I learned about this song in my music class. And so I take it as my duty in this world to make sure that everyone knows about Cantiga 159 Non Sofre Santa Maria. Specifically the Martin ensemble version of it. Martin Best ensemble version of it, because again, I think that's the best interpretation of the song. Shout out to U of F up there. Oh yeah. What did they say? By far the most popular party song for music history at the University of Florida. Let's go. Oh man. They know what's up. What are they? Gators up there? Go Gators. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. Like no joke, no meme. It is one of my favorite. It brings a smile to me. It makes me feel joyous whenever I listen to it. And you know, part of that is the way it's written. But let me tell you, there's some real boring interpretations of the song, that are a lot more, you know, probably more time appropriate. But I like to imagine that they got down. You know, that the people who wrote this, the nuns out there, they knew how to party. And I like to think that they wanted to make a piece of music that the music majors of the University of Florida could bump at their parties, you know? That's just me though. But so when I think of what would I write as a game for a meat jam, well, it's Non Sofre Santa Maria. That's what it is. And I have thoughts on the game, but mostly I've been thinking about them mechanically. What are the rules of this game? And well, I had other ideas because I want to pay homage to the jumping meat part of Non Sofre Santa Maria, because that is kind of like the only meat part about that song. And I was just like, oh, well, we could just like make you get like a box and roll your dice inside the box, kind of like Yahtzee. I think that's a game that you do that with. And then you like roll them, and that's, you know, the meat section of the mechanics. Never underestimate that there will be those who will seek to rob joy from music, just as there are those who will make a joyful noise. Yes, absolutely. It is sad. Make fun music. Make music fun again. And so I am. So I was pretty dead set on this like Yahtzee version of the mechanic to pay homage to the meat in chest thing. However, after reading Asher's Ridge, I thought, because one of the things that they say in Asher's Ridge is to shake up a bag of your letter tiles so you can mix them up and then, throw them off. And I was like, what if I shook up the mechanic was shaking that? That feels a little bit more appropriate. So now I'm between both of those. So now I'm between either, instead of shaking dice in a box, shake a bag or box of word tiles. Here we go. So that's what I got. Shake the meat bag. Either you're gonna shake the meat bag or you're gonna shake the meat box. That's where I'm there now. Or shake the meat in the box. Those are my two thoughts right now in my game for Non Soffre Santa Maria. I'm thinking it's probably going to be very, very much in line with what Non Soffre Santa Maria is, in which we just simply are looking for missing meat. Maybe a little bit of a whodunit sort of deal. And I'm just now thinking, I don't know, maybe it is a whodunit and we do letter tiles and we shake the bag until we have like one left. Or maybe we could also do that with dice. Maybe we just load up the thing with dice and then when you have one die left, that's when you finish the game. I don't know. I think there's merit with either one. I do believe there is merit with either one on how we're going to do it. But I think that either way, it's going to be fun. Either way, it's going to be a good time because I'm going to be writing a game about Non Soffre Santa Maria and spreading the word of Non Soffre Santa Maria out there. And not even like in a religious way, but straight up, it is a banger and more people should know about it. When there was a song that was written in the 1200s, like 1200s, and a banger interpretation in the 2000s. I think it was the 2000s. While we're talking, let me just go ahead and restart my phone. It's been yelling at me to restart it all day. And this is the perfect time because I'm not using it. But yeah, so that is where I'm at with this game, is that I'm going to make a song about Non Soffre Santa Maria, and I believe you guys should also join the Meat Circus Jam and write a tabletop game, a supplement, or a setting that features meat. I think there's a lot of options. With letters, would you making words for places to search for the pork shop? That's what I'm thinking. You would be making words for clues or location. I think locations would fall under clues. You would write clues for where it would be. And then that's where it leads you to, right? Like in the story. Until you find out who done it. Because I think there's merit there. I think there's merit on the mysterious missing pork chop jumping song. Am I making a list of Italian salami? Let's go by region. Salumi by region? Yes, I am. I was working on reverse, but this has distracted me. I think this is a valiant thing to be distracted by. Who does not? Did they change my icons with this upgrade? Oh, no. Oh my god. Oh, I hate it. Oh, I hate it. Oh, I hate it. Oh, it's not even all up yet, and I hate it. Oh no. Oh, I should have not upgraded. I should have just never turned my phone off ever again. What do you mean even more space with my apps? I don't want more room for my apps. Oh my god, you changed this too? Oh my god. Ugh, I hate it. I hate this update. I hate it so much. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. They just changed it. Why would you change it again? Why would you do this to me? Oh my god. Everything is awful. They also uncensored my image. They moved all my apps down by one to make sure I knew that there was more room at the top. I hate you. I don't care that I never look at the second pages of my apps. Oh my god, this is gonna take so long to fix. Oh, it looks awful. Oh, I hate everything about this update. Oh my god, why would you do this? This looks awful. Oh my god. And like they changed the icons for the like for my battery and Wi-Fi and whether or not I'm connected to the internet is now there, and like also it shows me that I have it on vibrate, and they're ugly. Oh my god. I know you guys can't see any of this, but at least you can hear the absolute woe in my voice that I have to look at this. What am I? This is awful. I cannot emphasize enough how awful this looks in comparison to what it used to. I was just getting used to the new ugly one also, and you guys just made it worse. I feel like I think you think I'm overreacting. I haven't looked up yet because I can't take my eyes off of how fucking ugly this looks. Oh my god. Yeah. But trust me when I say that they just made this. Oh my god, the colors used to be subtle, and now they're not subtle at all. And I'm gonna have to choose like a gray color instead of like the like slight orangish that I had going because it matched with my background photo. But it's so fucking bright. Oh god, I hate it all. Somebody get Kendrick on the fucking phone. I need to talk about this. Oh, man, it looks so bad. Well, maybe this will fix it a little bit. Maybe this will fix it a little bit. It's just. Oh my god, and that looks even worse. Oh my god. I'm upset um about this change. Oh boy. Why do they gotta do this to me? Why do they gotta do this to me? I do love that though, Pax, that you're distracted now. So with each clue, play a scene of the search. Something like that, Pope, is what I'm thinking. Salami is often distracting, so true. Is it a Samsung? Because no, it's a Google Pixel. It's a Google Pixel. No, your rage is valid. Thank you so much, Pope. Oh my god. It's a Google Pixel. I'm sad about it. I'm so sad about it. I was just getting used to the last ugly update that they did too. I'm sure there's like an app out there I can download to like fix it all, but I'm just upset that I have to, you know? Why can't we just leave a good thing alone? I like the Google Pixel because it had really like, I just thought it used to look nice, and now they're just making it look not like, and like it had like a sort of like professional fun look to it before. I just think we're getting a little too far away from that. Anyways, meet Circus. The other thing I also think about when I think about Meat Circus is a long time ago now, probably like, godly man, maybe 7 years. No, it would have been before COVID. In like 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. I played. Hey, oh my God, Kalino, isn't it past our bedtime? Hi, how you doing? Welcome in. I think somewhere around 2018, 2019, maybe even 2017. I like to think it's a little later than that, though. Oh, wow. What are you wowing me? You're the one that I look. I'm just going off of what your schedule is usually like. Who am I to know why you're not falling asleep at 10 p.m. on the dot? You know, like, uh, I TPH, but it is TPH, but my sleep schedule is a train wreck now. Oh no, Galino, no. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Well, at least you get to come in and hear about the meat circus. So when I think about that, I think about back then. I played a game of I think it's Dungeon World. It's whatever game where your inventory system is just you have a Mary Poppins bag and whatever you want is going to be in there and you just have to mark it off as one of the things you had in there. You don't have to know about them beforehand. You can choose in the moment what's in the bag or your inventory, I should say. I think it's Dungeon World. There's a couple of games that all kind of like are the same to me in my mind. Either because I played them around the same time, or they have just very similar names. And so that game was run by a friend of mine called Greybeard, and he ran it in the circus. It was a one shot. We went in, maybe it was a two shot. We went in and we were in a circus. And it was a bad circus. Surprise, surprise. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't remember much about the game part of it, but I remember the atmosphere he created, and it was very creepy. And when I think about it, I think of like a dark, scary circus tent. With scary people inside of it. And for whatever reason, it's all red on the inside. And so because it's scary, I also think it almost feels like the inside of maybe a monster's stomach or something. Which I don't think was the story, but like that's the energy that I get now. Because it was scary. And for those of you who don't know, I don't like scary things. Hey, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a big scaredy cat. I don't like scary things because they scare me. And I don't like being scared. So it's a pretty open and shut case as to why I don't like scary things. And so that's how I remember it. My thoughts went first to a Super Meat Boy, Monty Python's Flying Circus mashup. Yo, that's nutty and I love it. That is what I'm talking about. I love that so much. I'm along with Super Meat Boy. That's crazy though. I don't even know how it will work, but I love it. I like where your brain's at. I am definitely along the lines of a whodunit, who stole the meat, who did it, who done it. And if it is letter tiles, I think the last word is going to be like the last clue or like who did it, like that wherever that last clue points, that is who did it, I think. Or maybe something else. Sorry, I had to answer a quick message there real quick. Um I yeah, I would just have to think about like the how to organize that last word. Because presumably if we're waiting until the end of the bag, you still have to make a word. So it might just be like the last word you can make. But how would you know? Also, how would you know how many Gosh, I fought for my life to make sure I muted my mic for that. Um I am yeah, so that's where my brain is at this very second. This very moment, that's what I'm thinking of what exactly I'm gonna do. Oh, I can't update because I am in the voice call with myself for so this my little guy will work. Um that's exciting news. That's good news that I just got. Okay. I really want to make this game work because I think it'll be fun. I think it is a whodunit. Okay. I have no letter tiles. I've never owned a letter tile in my life. Um and I do believe that is where the bottleneck will be for most people, which is why I also wonder if I should just go with dice. Um but I also can't imagine that letter tiles cost that much, right? Speaking of letter tiles, um the letter tiles, I think I need to look them over myself, but I do believe the letter tiles for our game of Asher's Ridge are done. My God, you can buy these in such large quantities. Those must be for some real serious Scrabblers out there. Oh no, people make DIYs with these. That's why there's a lot of words here. They sell things with these. That's why. And you know what? That makes sense. The math checks out. You can usually just buy them inexpensively. Yeah, that is what I'm seeing. They're all like a bunch, like 2, 3, 400 for under $10. That's extremely affordable. Some of these make me a little worried about splinters though, let me tell you. Some of these do not look very sanded down. um I like that I just answered my own question so quickly. 8 to 17 bucks is what I'm saying. Yeah. They're not very expensive at all. They're in the range of like what dice would cost. And you get a bajillion of them. So I think this is good. I think that's good. I think I'm not worried about it. Oh, you could also buy Scrabble. Scrabble is apparently even cheaper than that. Oh no, it's not. It's just on super sale right now. Interesting. You could buy Scrabble for $8 right now, almost 9. Interesting. There's also other word games that I know exist. So presumably people who like games like this will have the letter tiles available to them. Um, oh, apparently on Etsy you can buy them individually for $1 or less per each one. You just buy every single letter individually for $1. They're vintage, so you can't see my expressions, but I did raise my eyebrows when I say vintage. Okay, that's not bad. But yeah, we do have those done to throw them in digitally on Roll20 for Asher's Ridge, the Asher's Ridge game we're going to be doing. So that's what my game's going to be about, at least the one that I'm going to submit for the jam right now. I'm actually significantly busy in October, so I don't think I'm going to have much time to do much else aside from this game. But I could also see myself doing something about an actual meat circus, where in which the circus tent is like a monster, or maybe what I'll do is I'll end up making a circus tent, monster and create a stat block for them and submit that also. That one would have been too difficult, I don't think. Because I think there's like a precedent for it, right? Like there's isn't like the Baba Yaga also a stat block already that exists for like D&D? I'd be surprised if she wasn't. I think that it would be pretty easy. I think the hardest thing would be the art for it, which is genuinely where I'm always at. I always think the art's going to be the hardest part for everything. As someone who is not an artiste, that is always going to be what takes me the longest. Speaking of artiste, let me adjust my desk because that is our Meat Circus jam portion of the game. Oh wow, what is on this mouse, man? Hello? What did I eat? Oh. Move that back up. Let's see. So yeah, I might do something else. A little thing. For it, but Non Sopra Santa Maria, that's my main game. And you know what? If she's up there, I'm sure that I believe that if a Virgin Mary does exist, she has a good sense of humor. I like to think she has a good sense of humor. So, last time on Dragon Ball Z, oh, I've lost my mouse. We were working on this map. This is not the way this map is going to look. Hold on, I'm just trying to pull up the actual map. Because that has legends and things that I'm going to need to look at. So For Asher's Ridge, I have decided that I want to make I want to work on this map. I want to do my own version of this map because admittedly the map that she has posted in the quick start is presumably not the finished product. So everything is everything is real pixelated when you start zooming in. So it's meant to be read like this, like a real piece of paper, I'm assuming. And like how you would look at it in a book, but digitally when you start like zooming in and start like looking at it real close, things are real zoomed in. So I wanted to do one myself. Also, I like working with maps. I like doing maps. It is a hobby of mine. So I wanted to work on one for this game, and then I realized that this was going to be a topographical map, and I became even more excited about it because I have never done one before. I've never worked on a topographical map. I know very little about topographic maps, so serendipitously, my last stream, either my last stream or the stream before my last stream, Trooper rated me, and Trooper apparently very good with topographical maps, and so was somebody else in that stream that rated with Trooper. It was Unstable Deuce came in, and oh my god, Naipa came in and also talked to me about topographical maps, and they gave me an education. Let me take a drink of water real quick. And so I learned even more, and then I read a little bit more on stream, and it was a whole thing. But what I did learn, let me take this off so you guys can actually see what the actual map looks like. I put this here so it would hurt my eyes less. Where I would still see it, but I would see it a little bit more flattened out, and I would get also less distracted. So I looked at it and I learned exactly what all the lines mean, and I also learned how to like interpret what I'm looking at and stuff like that. And as I was working on the heat map, as I like to call it, I realized I was able to visualize it even more because I really couldn't get past my color choice here, where the top was darker and then the rest of it was lighter. So it looked like a geode more than anything else. So it was more concave than convex in my brain. But now I can see it more for what it is, like what the actual ridges are, the elevation changes. I can see like where the like raised bits are, the hilly bits, and the direction they're going and stuff like that in a much more visual manner than this allowed me, to be honest with you, because this is still a little wonky for me to look at. Even with my filter over it, it's still a little difficult for me to interpret what I'm looking at as I'm looking at it. But with the heat map, it's a lot easier. So what I did learn with the heat map, okay, so the reason I did do this, what I call the heat map, is I didn't know where to start. I had no idea where to start. I didn't know how to take apart what I was looking at, so I decided to create bite-sized pieces for myself to organize it. And so there were two ways I could go about it, right? I could either segment what I'm working on. So I could work in it in quadrants, and I can make quadrants out of those quadrants. I could work on it. I could work on it in batch, in like biomes or in areas. So like I could work on the city, I could work on the quarry, I could work on this mountain, and then I could work on this area. And and then the path here, and then I could work on this, and then the water, and then all of whatever's there, right? Like that, this is another way I could segment it. My issue with all of those was that I was going to be intersecting interesting areas, right? Like I would be, as someone who can't look at this and discern what I'm looking at, really, like realistically, I look at this and I'm not seeing hills and mountains and things, right? I'm just seeing a bunch of lines on a page. And if I look at it enough and for long enough, I can start like discerning like, oh yeah, this is where our ridges are at. This is the elevation, here's our ridge. And over here, this is taller. This is another one of our ridges, and it's tall here. So we have a little bit of a drop off. We have some cliff sides, and like this is all our, this is all of our lower end, and this is all our higher part. And this is a little basin, not so much a lower part. Like if I start looking at it hard enough, I get there eventually. But at first glance, I don't see anything. At first glance, this means nothing to me, right? So I needed to do something to fix that. So breaking it in half like this, I wouldn't know the correct way to break this up. I would be breaking up portions that should be worked on together. Like I didn't realize that this was its, or right here, this was its own little thing that I needed to work on. Because it has like elevation changes in here. Again, to me, because of these lines here, to show off the different biome, I did not see this as part of this when I'm looking at this, and I still don't. I recognize that it's all the same thing, but I can't look past the obvious color change on this map. So I first started off by just doing a bunch of lines. Let me put some lines on this page to try and discern what I'm looking at. I'll be honest with you, didn't really help. It did help once I looked at the legend again, and I was like, that's what that is. But for the most part, this means nothing to me. And so that didn't help. And that was one of the other ways I was going to try and segment it by understanding like, oh, okay, so this is the walking path, right? All this green stuff. And then this is like the waterways, and then, but like, then how do I work on this middle bit? And then like, what's this? What's that mean? You know, like all of that just ended up just not being it. So then my next thought was, well, what if I separate this all in bits and pieces, specifically by elevation, because that's what I'm struggling to see the most, right? And if I can't see it, let me do this is a visual medium, let me create a way for me to see it. So we started off with our highest point, which is over here. It's hard to see, but that says 800. So we start off with our 800, then this is our 750. Again, it's hard to see, but it says 750 right there. Then we go to our 700. So now we have our elevation here. We have our little snick. We go to 650. All of this is 650. Over here is our color key. As I decided how I was going to separate these colors, because I needed the main color and then I needed the colors in between the 50s. Then we have 600. So all of that yellow is 650 or 600, my bad. Then we have 550, which is our brighter yellow. That leads into our green yellow at our 500. Then at 400, we have this brighter green. Then we have a darker, more neon green here at 400. At 350, we have this. And as you can see, this is where we start seeing some of the interesting things in this terrain, because this is a cliffside. So while all of this is 400, whatever's down here is going to be lower than our 350. So we go into our 300 and boom. So this is 400 and this is 300. So that's a 100 meter drop there. But you can see we have even more space being taken up by that 300. Then we get into our 200, and now we see that we start including some of the other parts of this map. And once again, we have another cliffside here. So we're not at, that's not 250, but it is just barely 200 down there. So this is all 200, and then you can see how our little basin is working there, our little quarry. And also you can now start to see the different elevations of these other areas. Then at 150, we see that that's the majority of our map. 150 is the majority of it all. And then last but not least, we have our 100. We have all of this is 100. And then below this is all the shoreline. So all of this is heading into sea level. Even though there is no lines here to signify such a thing. Or not sea level, but lake level. So that's what all of that is. And then we have our water. Maybe I don't understand how this shoreline works. Oh, sorry. Maybe I don't know how this shoreline works, because if this is our 100 line, right? Somewhere around here it tells me it's 100. Here it is. If this is our 100 line, then this is 150, 110. If there were another elevation line here, that would suggest that this were lower. So this is all 100. Yeah, that suggests that this is all 100 also. So I'm calling this 100, but this is 100 to 150 is what this is. 100 to 150. And this is all just 100. That. And then we hit our water just so I could cover up our water. Because it was looking a little awkward just like this. But yeah, so that's why I did it. It's to create segmentation and also to give myself just a little bit better of an idea of what I'm looking at. And while I was doing that, I found some issues. I found some issues with this map. When I was plotting out the 200s is where I started running into a lot of issues. And that's just that I started running into a lot of parallel lines. So like, this is 200, but if we follow this line here, we come here and it turns into 150, which is not really a thing that really actually happens. But it is what's happening here. And then if I continue to follow this line this way, this leads me to another 200. So that would suggest that this line is 200. And that this is our error, right? However, if we look up here, that's a good old 200 right there. So this is 5 lines down. This line is in fact 150. And then this line up here, if we follow this here, that leads us to 250. Also, we have some cliff lines here, which I don't understand why they're there, because we have our we have the steep incline here. We have our 5 lines that show it goes down here. Unless that's supposed to be maybe 250 and it's just you can't see it. No, but 250 is right there. I can see it. So this has to be 200. So yeah, that's 200 leads this way. There's some cliffs symbols there they're there for no reason really, because there's nothing there. Then we have our 200 and our 250 up here. And then you follow this line. You continue to follow this line here. Hey, remember we were at 200? Well, surprise, we're now at 300 over here. And the cliff signs were over here. None of our cliff signs are on this side. So I can't even justify it that way. So we're at 300 there, and then we go down only a couple of lines. From 300, this is 290. So recently that's 280, but we're actually at 250 here. And then we have another elevation that's supposed to be 260, right? Right there. We have, once again, goes down, that's 290. This is 280. This is 270, but it's 250. And then we go down to 200 over here, which again is actually 150 over here. But actually, this also suggests that this is also 250 if we're going with the same measurements as that. But it doesn't give us 250, nor does it give us the dark line to suggest that that's a 250 line. Have a good night, Prax. Sleep well. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out, and I hope you enjoy the Meat Circus Jam. But yeah, so we follow this. I can forgive whatever happens here because we do have this cliff edge that gives some ambiguity of at what level we're here at. And it's fine because it never tells us. There is no elevation lines over here to suggest where we're at. There are just simply elevation lines there, which is fine because that means I can fix this how I need to. But yeah, so this is 200. So stick with me here. So this line is 200, right? Our next line is this one. So up here, there's nothing that leads us to anything. So let's follow this line down. Again, this line right here, 200. And we follow this line down. Still following this line down. And there we go. We're at 100. So we go from... so if this is 200, this is 200. That's 190, 180, 170. Technically this is 160, but we'll let it slide. This is 150, right? No, but it's actually 100. But there's actually nowhere for this 500 to like continue to go down. There's no other elevation to show me that, hey, we're reaching the shore edge. But there's also no elevation showing me that it's going back to 100 here. However, over here it is 100, and again, there's no elevation lines in the middle of this town. So I just have to assume that all of this is 100 in between those lines. So this is all 100. This cannot be 150, which means that this cannot be 200. Which means that maybe this is supposed to be 150 all along. And now you can see where things started to kind of devolve on this map. And when I was working on this map on stream, I had a bit of an aneurysm about it. So what I ended up doing is picking up to the 300s. So we have our 300 here, right? So we have our 300 here. However, I am not counting this as 300. What I'm doing to fix this is I am considering that 200 to 250. So all of this is 200 to 250. Even if this is 250, it's not. It's 200 to 250. So this is all 200. 200 is the outside. We go to 250 in the middle. And then all of this is 150. Everything that says it's supposed to be 200 from this line up has now become 150. Again, this all becomes now 150. No 200, no 250, no ambiguity. It's all 200. It's all 150. And then all of this is 100 to 150. All of that doesn't matter what it used to be. It is all now 100 to 150. And then the rest of it is presumably 100 because there's no other elevation line. And then our water. So that's how I fix that situation, is I changed the heights to be a little bit easier to function with. But yeah, so that is what happened, and that's how I'm gonna how I fix that. And now that's why this heat map is even more important for me. But I'm glad I did that because I wouldn't have ever caught this issue. I would have just lived with it. I just would have lived with this issue myself. I'm actually going to create another thing here because I actually, once again, I'm gonna message Roy and Montford with some of these issues to describe this. So this is so I made this line 200 and this line 250. So this line is 200 and 250. No, that's 200, right? No, it's 200. It's all 200. It's 200. This is 200. So that makes this whole thing 150. And that keeps this line as 100. Again, this is now 100. This is 150, right? Yep. This leads us to 200. I'll do it on the inside. 200. 100. 100. 150. This is 150. Down here, this is 150. Then we have 200. And so we have this here, which is going to be let me tell you, this does not look anything like this color off on the side. But color theory is crazy, I guess. Oh no, I never fix this. This is a me issue. Oh my god. A me issue. That's why I never looked right. uh, this is also another me issue. I also have never fixed this one because I changed some of these colors after the fact. And the rest of that is fine. This is 300. So I'm not drawing on that layer. I'm drawing on this layer. This is 300. And then down here, it's going to be 200 to keep in line with their original vision there. And then this line is 250. This line is 200, and then we back over here. And so this goes over here, and this is all 150. We continue on this way. This is 200. This is 250. Oh, did you guys know Hits and Bits? They're one of the artists I listen to on here. Dochi, I don't care. I'm so sorry. Dochi's gonna play here on Halloween. That's crazy. Bits and Hits is a lo-fi station I listen to. They came out with they're coming out with Lord of the Rings, but it's a lo-fi beats volume 2 soon. And that is exciting. They've come out with 2. We have the Bridge of Cosma Doom and then Evenstar. But they have 2 more that's gonna come out. That's very exciting. Bits and Hits comes out with music fairly often for like the one person they are. But it's very cool because if you also go to their YouTube page of the same name, they do all their own art. All of this pixel art is theirs, and in the video itself is animated, and they also do all the animation, which I think is very cool. This up here is 300. There you go. That's kind of a legible 300. But we come over here. This is 250. And all of this is 200. Here, that's 300. And honestly, this is the only part that they really messed up on. The rest of it was fine. Maybe I should do it in different colors. But at least I have the numbers down, and that's what was stopping me from doing this task, sending out the email, because I didn't know. So my next task with this map is throw that there. And we're gonna lock you. I'm also gonna lock you because we're done with messing around with this. I'll turn the lock lines because I'm not gonna mess around with that either. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to come up with the style I'm going to do the lines. And I think what I want to do is I want to work backwards from 100 up. And I think I want to work off of a blank slate. Let's do blue. I prefer to work with a cool blue instead of a cool, a warmer tone. A warm gray, sorry, is what it's usually called. Okay. Fuck. That's not where I want you to go, you little silly. I want you there. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to start from the bottom and go up. How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? So I'm trying to decide if I want to work on this, like with this as my background, or if I want to work with that cool layer. I also need to lower my stabilization by like a fucking lot. I also don't know if I want to work with that pen or not. I'm a big fan of that pen. All I'm doing is lines, but like the lines are gonna tell a big story, you know? I need this to go up a little bit because I do need it to be rounder. Because stylistically, I kind of like the rounded look. A little bit scratchier. I didn't know what style I wanted to do as I went into this, to be completely honest with you. But I'm kind of liking this more cartoony look to it. Even though I don't think this is going to be a very cartoony game we play, I think it might serve it though. No, I don't like that pen. No, this is a calligraphy pen. This is going to be a nightmare to work with. I have a texture pen, but this is also going to be a nightmare to work with, I think. I think this is a rough pen. I think this is also not going to be great to work with. Yeah, we need something reliable, which is why I think I'm going to go with my G pen again. I really struggle to get away from this G pen. I just really like it. Who am I to say no to something I really enjoy, you know? So I'm testing the stability on this, and I think I need it to be a little bit higher. Just be a little bit heavier handed. Oh, there we go. It's starting to lag behind me. Let's go back a little bit. Let's try 45. Yeah, this is it. 45 is the number. It lags enough behind me that like I'm like, how do I describe this? Like, I'm done, right? Like, I'm doing a lot of this, and the whole it gave me was a little bit of a hump, which is exactly what I want. Um, I would like to listen to a song now. Thank you very much. Oh, speaking of songs, I'm very excited for this Thursday night, Friday morning. I'm big excited. Hold on, let me, before I tell you why. Yeah, we'll listen to The Photographer. This is one of my favorite albums by Philip Glass. I like the music, but I like the story behind it even more, which makes the music better for me. I am very excited because Taylor Swift's new album is coming out. And the last album that came out, The Torture Poets Department, that was the first time I'd like stayed up for a release for Taylor Swift. I've never really stayed up for releases before. Hers was the first one, and then I stayed up for Billie Eilish's album that came out. And then I didn't have any power for like a day, I think. I think I didn't have power for like an entire day. the day her album came out, which I was livid about. But I did use my little bit of power and my little bit of internet that I was able to get to download the album before it went away again. And when the satellite was looking at me just right, I downloaded the album and I listened to it. It was great. And I downloaded it in the worst quality possible on Spotify. And I genuinely think that the best way to listen to Billie Eilish is Hit Me Hard or Soft. To listen to it, I do believe the best way to do it is to listen to it in the absolute worst quality ever, in a way too big room or a too small room, depending on how you're doing it. You either have to listen to it really quiet in a big room or really loud in a really small room. Like really really distort the sound as much as you possibly can. And I think it'll sound great. When I was listening to it, I eventually tweeted out or did it on Blue Sky. I posted about how I believe that the best way to listen to that album is in like a small little venue, like a bar or something like that, where you also like happen to have live performances on like really cheap equipment with really cheap audio setup and really terrible speakers, and everything's really loud and people are also really loud. Because it's just such a fucking trippy album to listen to, especially for like your first time you listen to it. It's very overwhelming sonically, and I genuinely think that's the best way to listen to it. Like if I were to listen to Chihiro in like a really cheap club or like a really cheap bar, I would lose my shit. As a performed song, I would lose my shit. I also think that same quality is what would make it a good like rave song also. Like a good rave song. Even though it's a little slow, but I think it would it could serve as a good bass just because it has like that really, it has a sound that would sound really shitty. And I really adore that about it. But yeah, and like the other like there's only a handful of albums I've ever stayed up to listen to, and Beyonce's self-titled album, I believe that was her first album that she dropped with no warning at all. I think it was self-titled. Was it the Beyonce album, or was it Lemonade that she surprise dropped? No, Lemonade, she surprise dropped all the visuals on that one. I think she surprise dropped that album too, but I don't think it was the first one. I think she surprise dropped 2 albums, and self-titled was the first one. Whichever one it was, I was awake for that drop. I had no idea what was happening. I saw it all over Twitter, like as it happened, and I listened to it because of that. I wasn't so much waiting for it as it just happened. The same thing honestly happened with Lemonade. But I caught on to that one a lot later, just because I had a worse relationship with Twitter at that time. So Taylor Swift was the first one I did on purpose, and Billie Eilish's was the second one I did on purpose. And now this new Taylor Swift album is the third one I'm doing on purpose. I also think I might have done a Kendrick album. I did some other album. Oh, I might have done Benito's. I might have done Benito's new album also. I might have waited up for that one. Point is I'm procrastinating doing this. I just want you guys to know. I am in fact procrastinating. No, I couldn't have done Kendrick's because I wasn't a fan of him like that then. IDK. But that's the vibe. That's what we're working with. Maybe I do this like this. Maybe I do it like that to get more of that bitty quality. Because the problem we're gonna have is readability. And I think if we do it like this, there's no question about the readability, you know? Let me go over here to some of our like skinnier areas. The difference between these lines are mostly going to be, I think that's way too thick. The difference between these lines is going to be coloration between our elevation lines. Like here, I need to fit 5 lines in here, but that's not even 5 pixels, so that's going to be real hard no matter what. Like the only difference is going to be is readability. None of those want to write. Not even this one wants to write like this. Um oh, this one will do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, just having 1 pixel in between them. I think this is too small. I think this map is too small. I think this needs to be bigger. I think we need to double the resolution size. Okay, I'll double it. Let's see this over here now. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. So yeah, we have even more room there. We have even more room there. Okay, over here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's hard to do. Get that 5th line in there. Well, I had this at 1.1. I need that our skinniest to be able to do that. 2, 4, and 5. I think this is probably the most common gap we're gonna get. You have to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, and then 5. Maybe 3 times the size. If I want to go up another size, how do I do it? Maybe I just go 2 times the size again. A lot easier to do now. Here, 2, 3, 4. Alas, we must go bigger. This honestly, this might have to be just be a 10K map, which is what we're gonna get to because we're going up exponentially. It doesn't matter too much because we're doing this ourselves. This is our map. We have this here versus this here. We can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? This is 800, 790, 780, 770, 760, 750, yeah. So I have to work with our absolutely smallest hand to do this. Let's see, 1. We have 2. 3. Is that enough? 790, 780, 770, 760, 750. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. I just, I didn't finish off over here, but you know what's supposed to be going on over there. And if I were to write it's so weirdly specific how we have to do this. I'm gonna keep the general integrity of the original map. But also I do have to adjust for some of these lines, you know? People do this in real life. I should look up some videos of people doing topographical maps and see. how they get her done. I think that looks the most natural. What I just did there. That's 90, 80, 70, 60, 50. Yeah, 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 yeah. And if I do here, this is all test, by the way. We're just trying this out. By we, I just mean me. I'm testing this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This line should have gone down a little bit more like that. Okay. This. What I meant before is that the image resolution making the previous areas blurrier doesn't really matter. Because what I'm going to be drawing over it is going to be in the correct resolution. So long as I don't size up what I work on after the fact is what really matters here. I'm looking how this is looking. I'm going to continue doing like a little freehand version of this, a rough draft of this, to see how I continue to feel about it. Color choices, I think, are going to be more bright, I think. Just because I kind of like the difference here. I think that looks very natural doing it like natural to the style of the topographic map. The only thing is going to be how am I gonna write the elevations on some of these. Is untrue. That's actually 750, but we're just vibing right now. I'd have to delete that line, I think. But I think I'm gonna work down. I am gonna work down. Because I think it'll be a disaster if I work up. Because I can always make things bigger. I can't always make things smaller. Topographically though, I think that looks fine. If I get rid of this and I just have this. I think that reads a lot like the main map right there. We have a few more swirlies in theirs. But I think that reads a lot like it. And I'm okay with that. Their just image resolution had to be a lot higher. But I understand why that's a daunting task because it is already 10,000 pixels. So it might have been bigger and they had to make it smaller to fit. I don't know what they're gonna do. This is gonna be a little bit of a nightmare to put in a book, I'll be honest with you. But that's all we got time for today because it is late and I still need to go do things. I'll call this practice lines. And my G pen is, I'm gonna do G pen 8.1. Fab 45. And I like that, so we're gonna hit save. And now that I've done all of that, now I know. Now I know how I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be a little bit of a nightmare for size reasons, like file size reasons, but I'm not printing this, so I don't gotta worry about it. That's a problem for someone who might be. But yeah, that is me for the night. So thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Meat Jam. Once again, make sure to go and sign up. You can follow me over on my socials where I will be talking all about it and I will be reposting a lot of stuff about it over on my Blue Sky. And only my Blue Sky. I still need to take off my Instagram. I do still have an Instagram, but I'm not using it. And then my YouTube plays too. Eventually I'll get around and I'll get time to be able to do things. But right now is not one of them. I do not have time to edit down anything. So sorry about that. If you guys want, I have one VOD over up on the Patreon for free that you guys can go watch, and that is our Ribbon Drive game that you can find over on the Patreon. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out. I really appreciate it. I know this was late. I know it was late. I know it's a late stream. It's a late stream and a short stream, but just genuinely, honestly, I don't have a lot of time right now for many reasons. So I'm gonna try my best. Anyways, have a good night, guys. I hope you guys have a good one. Don't forget to be nice to each other. Don't forget to be compassionate, and we'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye. Oh, I was just gonna straight quit. Hold on. we go to the bye screen. Goodbye. I will try to be back on tomorrow, Thursday. But that, if I start late, it's gonna be another early stream because I got a Taylor Swift album I gotta go listen to. And I genuinely don't think I want to do that on stream. So I'm going to go listen to that on my own time. And then on Friday, no stream because I have a game on Fridays. And then Saturday, I'm doing something. Sunday, I have a game over on Praxis channel. And then Monday comes back again. And I don't think I have anything on Monday. So hopefully that'll be the next stream. Otherwise, I'll be working on this. Oh my God, I forgot. Oh, I forgot how awful my phone interface look now. Ugh. Anyways, thank you guys. I hope you guys have a good one. Don't forget to be nice to each other. Don't forget to be compassionate. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!